Today we will cover a module titled Social Welfare Administration as a Method of Social Work Profession. Let us understand the objectives of this module first. The first objective is to provide an overall understanding of the concept of social welfare administration. Secondly, we wish to understand the scope and meaning of social welfare administration as a method of social work. Number 3, we wish to study the types of services under social welfare administration and their delivery. And number 4, we wish to explore the important considerations for social workers in the realm of social welfare administration. Now let us begin first by orienting ourselves to the relevance of social welfare administration. As you are all aware, the practice of social welfare administration as a method of social work has consistently found immense importance in every context. This is more so in India, which has a colossal mechanism for social development and a multitude of social welfare settings. These settings not only include government departments and welfare boards, but also corporations, social welfare agencies, non-governmental organizations, intergovernmental organizations, community-based organizations, and many such organizations. The social welfare administration practice is also institutionalized through the Panchayati Raj institutions, whose mandate is primarily development work in the localized context. Within the vast spectrum of problems and socio-economic and political issues which confront India in the contemporary context, including unemployment, ill health, poverty, destitution, disability, violence, crime, illiteracy, and many others, an appropriate deployment of social welfare administration as a method of social work gains even more significance. More so in the present context in which we are placed, and also in the e-governance and information technology domain which we are currently experiencing. It becomes an effective social work method also in context of the need-based interventions in the field of health and nutrition, education, housing, employment, and such others. Coming now to the concept of social welfare administration. Let us try to understand social welfare administration with the help of some available definitions. The first such definition was given by John Kidney in the year 1950. He defined social welfare administration as the process of transforming social policy into social services. According to him, this is a two-way process which includes, number 1, transforming policy into concrete social services, and number 2, the use of experience in recommending modifications in policy. This definition therefore encompasses the idea that administration is the process of transforming policies into action programs. The second definition was given by Harley Tracker in the year 1971. He interpreted social welfare as a process of working with people in ways that release and relate their energies so that they use all available resources to accomplish the purpose of providing the needed community services and programs. The third important definition was given by the American Council of Social Work Education in its curriculum study. This has given a very comprehensive definition of social welfare administration. According to this definition, administration is the process of transforming community resources into a program of community service in accordance with the goals, policies, and standards which have been agreed by those involved in this enterprise. It is creative in that it structures roles and relationships in such a way as to alter and enhance the total product. It involves the problem-solving process of study, diagnosis, and treatment. Rosemary Sari in the year 1971 had also outlined the activities of social welfare administration. These are, number 1, translation of the social mandates into operational policies and goals to guide organizational behavior. Number 2, the design of organizational structures and processes through which the goals can be achieved. Number 3, securing of resources in the form of materials, staff, clients and societal legitimation necessary for goal attainment and organizational survival. 4th, optimizing organizational behavior directed towards increased effectiveness and efficiency. And 5th, evaluation and organization performance to facilitate systematic and continuous solution of problems. Therefore, to summarize on the basis of the above definitions, we can understand that social welfare administration is a process which includes definite knowledge, understanding, principles and ways of interaction. Its main focus is on the appropriateness and ease of access of social services to the deprived constituencies. Social work facilitates this process of administration through guidance, planning, stimulation, organization, creation of structure, coordination and research. To fulfill the well-defined main objectives of administration, policies are suitably amended, programs are formulated and budget, finance, personnel and selection procedures are made. Let's now come to understanding the important dimensions of social welfare administration. Number 1, we need to understand that social welfare administration is imbued with an interdisciplinary perspective. This requires interdisciplinary knowledge as a constant interaction with all social sciences to know and understand the human being in totality. What are some of these social sciences? These social sciences are history, philosophy, psychology, sociology, political science and economics. A knowledge of all these is required in order to solve the problems of people in a holistic manner. Next, social welfare administration also requires a familiarity with the administrative structure. A social welfare administrator needs to understand the organizational and administrative structure of social welfare programs at each and every level of the implementing organization. Similarly, it is also important to know the role and setup of the non-governmental organizations for effectively carrying out their functions. Social welfare administration also requisitions a sound knowledge of financial administration. The need for additional financial support increases with the increasing scope of social welfare and social security as more and more people come under the coverage of these programs. In view of this, a thorough knowledge of financial administration is highly essential in order to undertake the effective budgeting of such programs. It is imperative that professionals engaged in social welfare administration must be trained in the techniques and principles of financial administration. Social welfare administration also places due importance on human resource management. This is most essential in order to have motivated, committed and trained social welfare functionaries at different levels so that they are able to provide effective social welfare services to their clients. In context of this requirement, the social welfare administrator requires proper knowledge of human resource management, which includes knowledge about recruitment policies, job classification, training and development, staff evaluation, advancement and transfer. All of these would facilitate the effective implementation of social services. There is also significance of public relations and participation in social welfare administration. Social welfare administrators need to be aware of the importance of public relations with regard to both their own agency and its services and the community as a whole. They must be adequately equipped to utilize mass media and in today's context also social media in order to interpret their agency's programs to the public, in order to work and liaise with the government and non-governmental agencies working in the field, with the people or beneficiaries whose cooperation and support will add to effective planning, formulation and implementation of policies and programs intended for their welfare and development. Social welfare administration also entails a skilled use of research and evaluation. Research augments effective planning, policy formulation, and implementation of programs. Scientific and systematic research and evaluation provide useful feedback on the impact of the ongoing projects and programs, and also about the dynamic dimensions of its existing social needs and problems. In view of this, skills related to research are imperative for the professional who is engaged with social welfare administration. Now, let us dwell on social welfare administration as a method of social work. We know that social welfare administration is one of the 6 methods of social work practice. It is considered as a secondary or auxiliary method of social work along with social work research and social action. Social welfare administration is not regarded as a primary method of social work, primarily because there may not be a direct contact of the professional with the individuals and the groups from the target population. Moreover, administration as a method or an area of study is also taught in other disciplines like public administration, business administration, and other disciplines. Therefore, professional social work does not enjoy exclusivity over this method. Social welfare administration is a method because it incorporates an intervention with the disadvantaged and the marginalized class of individuals, groups, and communities. More simply stated, we all know that social work practice is premised in helping the client and the client system to help themselves. As a method of social work, social welfare administration promotes social work intervention with these individuals, groups, families, communities, organizations, and agencies. Like all methods, social work administration can be extensively used by governments, non-governmental organizations, intergovernmental organizations, cooperatives, and private and corporate organizations. It has immense presence in the implementation and administration of all the programs for the weaker and vulnerable sections of society, like the poor person, persons with disability, elderly, persons from the reserved constituencies, women and children, all of which are operationalized through social work processes and interventions. As a method of social work, social welfare administration is directed towards the holistic development of society through social welfare policies, legislations, and programs aiming at sustainable social development. It also aims to enhance the socio-economic and psychological functioning of the intended target groups or clients in order to foster positive changes in their lives. It administers the resources, both human and non-human, which could be pitched in for the practice of social work processes and interventions. The upcoming fields of e-governance and information technology also require social work administration due to the innovative nature of social welfare services and programs at various levels. Now, let us understand the scope of social welfare administration. As is known to all of us, the scope of social welfare administration is quite vast. With the emergence of new social problems of an entirely different nature, new solutions and strategies need to be continuously evolved. Due to the wide and ever-increasing spectrum of these social problems, the scope for social welfare administration is ever increasing. Social welfare administration is not only needed in the government sector, it is also used extensively in the non-governmental organizations, intergovernmental organizations, community-based organizations, and in the cooperative sector. The overburdening of the administrative machinery of the government demands an increasing involvement of the non-governmental organizations to handle social problems and needs, again widening the scope for the deployment of social welfare administration. In view of the fact that resources are always scarce, an optimal utilization of available resources, human, institutional, financial and technological, is imperative. This bespeaks the scope for social welfare administration. Various fields of social work such as medical social work, community-based social work in industry, social work in agriculture, social work in family, psychiatric social work, geriatric social work, rural, urban, tribal and coastal development, all of these present a vast scope for services which in turn need sound administration. Creative media and creative literature are now extensively using administration. Literature on social work application in administration through fiction, through serial, drama, dialogue and other means is becoming very, very relevant. Social welfare administration, therefore, has to play an important role in the organization of creative, preventive, promotive, developmental and statutory social welfare services. The scope of social welfare administration can be discussed with the help of the post-COB view. The post-COB view of social welfare administration mostly takes into account the execution of the government-sponsored programs. It is regarded as a narrow view of social welfare administration as it corresponds with the managerial perspective. Favoll, Urwick, Ovian and Gillick advocate for this view. According to Henry Favoll, the main categories of administration are number 1, organization, number 2, command, number 3, coordination and number 4, control. Let us first try and understand what post-COB means and what do each of these letters stand for. P. The letter P stands for planning. It is an orderly process. Within this, the determination of goal takes place. For the fulfillment of the goal, policy is determined. As per determined policy, processes and resources are determined. In other words, planning means working out the broad outline of the things that need to be done and the method to be adopted to accomplish the purpose set out for the enterprise. The next letter is O. O stands for organizing. This implies determining what activities are necessary to any purpose and then arranging them in groups which are then assigned to specific individuals in order to accomplish the set goals. In other words, organizing is the establishment of the formal structure of authority through which work is subdivided, arranged, defined and coordinated for the defined objective. The next letter in post-COB is S. S stands for staffing. This includes recruiting, selecting, placing, promoting, appraising, planning the career, compensation and training, or developing both the prospective candidates and the current job holders in order to accomplish their tasks effectively and efficiently. In social work administration, staffing is a major administrative process. The letter D stands for directing. Directing consists of the process and technique utilized in issuing instructions and making certain that operations are carried out as originally planned. C stands for coordinating. Coordinating implies the integration of several parts into an orderly whole in order to achieve the purpose of the undertaking. R stands for reporting. Reporting entails keeping those people informed about what is going on to whom the executive is responsible to. B stands for budgeting. Budgeting is a plan of financing for the incoming fiscal year which involves an itemized estimate of all revenues on the one hand and all expenditure on the other. Thus, as per this approach, social welfare administration is an instrument of knowledge of the subject matter as well as an applied technique. Sachdeva in the year 1992 discussed the contents of social welfare administration. These are 4 in number and include: number 1, social problems, an assessment of their causes, prevention and treatment through public participation and effective implementation of social legislation is undertaken within social welfare administration. Number 2, social services. Social services are meant for the general public. The provision of social services and the need to make them more aligned to the well-being of the disadvantaged and the vulnerable sections of society is the goal of social welfare administration. Third is social security. This is oriented towards making and implementing effective social assistance and social insurance provisions. It aims to compensate for the loss of income due to unemployment, disability or death caused by accident and old age. Social policy. Formulating effective social policy for the welfare and development of the underprivileged sections of society and to achieve the goals of the welfare state through purposeful action is an imperative part of social welfare administration. To summarize this section, we can say that the scope of social welfare administration is expanding as it aims to bring about socio-economic, political and cultural changes via appropriate planning, organizing, program management and implementation in order to ensure participation, justice and inclusive development. It is utilized in various settings such as health and nutrition, social security, education, family welfare and planning, women and child welfare and development, social defense, correctional settings, community services, de-addiction services, disaster management, human rights, relief and rehabilitation, rural, tribal and urban development, among others. Engagement of social welfare administration with the primary methods of social work is also an important consideration. The primary methods of social work are used in social welfare administration. These include social casework, social group work and community organization. All of these play a very important role in administration. Social casework works with the individual clients in the administration of social services. Social group work is used with families and groups like neighborhood groups and self-help groups. It is also used to improve the effectiveness of the working of various committees which are a part of the social welfare administration. Community organization is used in resource mobilization and equitable distribution of resources and services at the community level. It is also used to make effective the functions of the Gram Sabha or the ward under the Panchayati Raj institutions. Social action and social work research, being auxiliary methods of professional social work, are also used in social welfare administration. While social action is deployed in bringing social welfare strategies and collective action for analyzing, modifying and formulating social welfare policies, social work research provides scope for action research, e-governance and evaluation of current programs. It also provides social work indicators and statistical indices for developing strategies and programs. Now, what are the types of services under social welfare administration and how are they delivered? Social welfare administration strives to impact the administration of varied social services. Social services can be broadly divided into number 1, education. This includes schools, colleges, universities, training institutes, professional bodies, internet facilities and e-learning platforms. It can be conceptualized as preschool, elementary, primary, secondary, vocational, higher education, adult, continuing and non-formal education. This is derived either publicly or through cooperatives, corporate bodies, non-governmental organizations and private organizations. The second is income transfer. Income transfer is generally referred to as social security. It can be provided in the event of disability, destitution, illness, unemployment, violence, war, natural calamities, etc. It is provided through social insurance, social assistance, pension schemes, or labor welfare fund benefits. Third is health and nutrition. In India, health services are offered through varied institutions including specialized hospitals, sanatoria, medical college hospitals, district hospitals, taluk hospitals, community health centers, primary health centers, dispensaries, nutrition bureaus, and so on. In addition, there are maternal, reproductive, and child health centers, family welfare sub-centers, Anganwadis, and so on at the local level. There may be non-profit or for-profit, private operated, public operated, or operated under the health insurance system or through people's cooperatives. Public housing. In India, social welfare institutions, government departments and local bodies also provide housing services along with the private players. For example, Indira Awas Yojana has been an important housing scheme of the Government of India. There are also non-profit housing corporations, boards and housing cooperatives. Housing systems in plantations, slums and industrial townships are also included in this. Employment and training. Under Social Welfare Administration, social work methods are used to upgrade employment by imparting skills through training. These are organized by special agencies, professional bodies and trusts both in the public sector as well as in the private sector. Personal social services. Personal social services include human development programs and other social welfare services like de-addiction centers, programs for the care of alcoholics and drug addicts, and programs for people suffering with HIV and AIDS. It also includes care, development and welfare of the child, crime prevention programs, welfare programs for prisoners, victims and their families, institutional care for women and children, probation and correctional services for the juvenile delinquents, care and adoption by special parents, family services, counseling services, family social work, counseling programs for adolescents, marital counseling, planned parenthood counseling, disability counseling, and protective services for the aged or the geriatric social work practice. It also includes daycare and preschool programs for the children, referral programs, holiday vacation camps for children, youth and parents, persons with disability and the elderly, income assistance and care programs for the average families, self-help and mutual aid programs among the disadvantaged groups, specialized institutional services for the destitute, infirm and beggars. Services resulting as an outcome of social policy. Diverse policies are formulated in order to transform and uplift the lives of the vulnerable sections of society, such as persons with disability, the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and backward communities, people from backward areas and slums, migrants, women, children, old and the infirm, as also victims of natural disasters who need top priority. In this context, social work practice promotes relief and rehabilitation through social services and social welfare administration. What about the social welfare administration personnel? All the persons who are associated with the responsibility of providing these social services in India are designated as secretaries, administrators, directors, welfare officers, medical social workers, psychiatric social workers, geriatric social workers, family social workers, school social workers, rehabilitation social workers, child development project officers, block development officers, research officers, local authority social workers, project directors, inspectors of welfare funds and by such nomenclature. What are the important considerations for social workers in social welfare administration? Number 1, organizational culture, environment and processes. Social services, social welfare services and social work programs are delivered through varied structures and organizations, which may include statutory agencies, various departments and non-governmental organizations. The organizational environment or culture and its characteristics distinguish one organization from the other, where such organizational culture or climate is experienced by its members. The organizational climate includes managerial values such as security, opportunity, autonomy and equity, as also other dimensions such as team spirit, freedom of participants to regulate their behavior, innovative ideas and procedures, direct supervision, better performance, incentives and rewards, risk-taking ability, frankness on individual differences, promotion of development, etc. The organizational climate is improved through good management practices and by the application of methods, techniques and skills of social work at every stage of management. Some important management practices include the fulfillment of defined social needs, finding out growth opportunities and solutions to problems, handling of conflict, equitable allocation of resources, determining priorities, assigning duties and functions, social diagnosis, making estimates and projections for the future, provision and selection of alternatives, organization of division of work, scientific approach based on facts, innovation and modification of services, evaluation of results, and making improvements, ensuring economic and wise utilization of public funds. It also includes improving the quality of life of beneficiaries and care providers. The need for a democratic organizational climate is imperative and entails that group work, cooperation, cohesion and common standards based on policies, rules and regulations administer various actions, activities and the overall welfare of the beneficiaries. Democratic organizational climate is more likely to bring about an overall progress of the organization. It is also likely to create better beneficiary satisfaction and productivity, as also enhance job satisfaction of the workforce. A conducive organizational climate includes harmonious employer-employee relations, employee-employee relations, care provider-beneficiary relations, and effective supervision opportunities for the employee growth, development, creativity, and risk-taking abilities. Program development is a very important component of social welfare administration. It includes the use, modification, and renovation of the existing technology and handing over of new technology for sustained social welfare through social work processes. Programs are developed for addressing the basic social services for education, income transfer, health, nutrition, public housing, employment and training, personal services, and also other services. Programs are also developed for improved housing and human settlements, redistribution of population, attainment of skills, enrichment of values and knowledge, as also improvement in growth opportunities. Horizontal and vertical processes are put in place to approve the programs. Horizontal processes include consideration by various departments, institutes, etc. at the same level. Vertical processes include approval by local self-government, by the district planning unit, state planning board, planning commission, etc. Program development also incorporates two major fields. One is developmental social work practice and the second is Panchayati Raj systems. Program development is a challenge for social work administration as the formulation of programs requires modifications and reformulations before effective, felt need-based, client-centric and participatory programs can be developed. In the present context, program development has to include e-governance, under which the implementation of income transfer and social security programs of institutional services and others are accelerated. The significance of public relations in social work administration is also immense, as public relations are a crucial component of social welfare agencies and organizations. Public relations transmit and interpret ideas and information from an agency to its users and stakeholders. They represent a major process of social welfare communication and development to support effective communication. The process entails opinions, ideas and information from the public, from the beneficiaries and stakeholders, and from also the care providers. Such processes and activities lead to the harmonious adjustment of an agency with its environment and also procure public support for social welfare agencies and its programs. The important objectives of public relations in social welfare administration are: number one, they lead to psycho-social informational preparedness for the beneficiaries. Number two, they build confidence in the staff and care providers by creating awareness regarding the agency among the public. Number three, they inform taxpayers and donors about the problems faced by the agency and how it functions to meet the needs of social welfare. It also explains how the money that has been allotted to the agency is being utilized. They explain the benefits from the agency to the clients and the community, and also construe a method of resource mobilization as well as increasing the membership base of the agency. A series of activities can be taken up under public relations. These can involve celebration of important days, weeks, years, decades, etc. of the local, national, international importance, leading to an enhancement in the image and goodwill of the agency. In order to improve the status of the agency, multiple programs and forums like conferences, seminars, workshops and other events can be organized relating to the important domains of the agency. Thirdly, maintenance of cordial relationship with significant contacts such as office bearers, board members, important officials, leaders, donors and important personalities as also the media is imperative, as it leads to a dissemination of information on the policies and work of the agencies. Public relations can also be undertaken through the bringing out of handouts, serials, newsletters, journals and advertisements, which can be creatively prepared and issued to depict the services or programs of the agency. Organizing cultural programs like dance, drama, puppet shows, etc. to communicate the message of the agency to the public are also important. Audiovisual media, electronic and satellite media, print media and social media can be usefully mobilized in public relations work. Public relations include some basic principles such as creating functional public relation committees, enlisting community participation, preparing a regular timetable for PR work, providing attention to various client needs, focusing on specific groups or specific audiences, organizing thematic publicity material, organizing events and deriving feedback. The machinery for public relations includes officials or volunteers on public relations, task forces, groups or committees. Under social welfare administration, public relations work has to be an ongoing and sustained effort. The role of management of conflict and conflict resolution in social welfare administration is also very important. The social welfare administrator needs to understand conflict from its very preliminary stage and should know how to assume measures for conflict resolution. There can be a serious conflict, a serious disagreement or argument or difference between two or more beliefs, ideas, interests, principles, privileges and programs or between departments, agencies, organizations, groups and individuals. In some cases, conflicts are unavoidable, and in some cases, they are also desirable as they lead to requisite change. Social work methods, techniques and skills could be applied to resolve a problem, an argument or a conflict. Conflict resolution is possible through mutual negotiation by individuals, families, groups or through consensus. Conciliation and arbitration are other methods of conflict resolution. Role of positive and professional relationships and climate in social welfare administration is also of immense significance. Good working relationships form the core of every successful and meaningful endeavor. When workers and staff members work together with devotion, with conviction and harmony, there exists a greater possibility for the agency to attain its goals. It is here that the client and care providers are more likely to have a meaningful professional experience together. Social workers have a crucial role in the establishment of this good working relationship and positive professional relationship with their colleagues. Positive professional relationship is a feeling of mutual respect, trust and confidence with one another. The professional integrity of a social worker is based on the understanding that public interest is above self-interest. A social worker uses conscious self-control, and he or she persistently strives to develop a sound professional philosophy based on a sound nurturing of values, attitudes, feelings and responses for creating positive work climate. Professional social work envisages the inherent dignity and worth of every human being with individual strengths, weaknesses and capacity for growth and change. It studies social needs in order to understand them. It understands the community in order to understand the context in which group members live. And it gives due importance to the influence of family life and other socio-political and cultural forces affecting clients and client systems. It also contributes to the success of the total enterprise through reliability, responsibility, articulation of a sound philosophy for personal growth, clear rules and regulations, and effective channels of communication to ensure positive organizational and work climate. So, if we wish to conclude, we can say that social welfare administration as a method of social work profession not only administers care provision for the disadvantaged and the vulnerable sections of society, it also endeavors to promote social development and developmental social work practice. Social welfare administration makes social welfare agencies optimalize the planning and organization of their programs and services to their clients and client systems. It is a specialized professional activity which utilizes the scientific methods of social work as well as skills in communication, administration and management to transfer social welfare policies and legislations into programs of social services, social welfare services, personal social services and social work programs. It is also important to recognize the scope and role of e-governance through the application of social welfare administration. With this, we culminate a description of this very important module on social welfare administration as a method of social work.